What up, y'all? UFC T breakdowns. I know I've been a little late on this. My bad. Kids are home from school. It's like spring break or some shit. So it's been a little hectic. And then, as you can see, I'm in the fucking car because I can't get no peace in there. It's crazy, man. The kids is finally quiet. And like I muted the TV. I'm like, I'm gonna just do this video right here in the living room. It'll be fine. My wife started vacuuming, man. I swear I can't make this shit up. Anyways, all right. We're talking about ESPN Fight Night London, Alexander Volkov versus Tom Aspinall. I gotta be honest, this is one of the better ESPN cards you're gonna see. Like it's a good ESPN card, a lot of fucking action, a lot of stops, not just letting the judges decide who wins. It was a lot of people who took it into their own hands. This card, some crazy knockouts. It was dope. It was a dope card, like considering it wasn't even a pay-per-view. It was pretty action packed. There weren't many boring fights. Maybe the Gunnar Nelson fight might be considered boring by some, but really it was like just a showcase of how good Gunnar is, kind of everywhere. Much more on the ground though than on the feet, but still, he's good everywhere. All right, so I'm gonna start off. So because this fight card was in London, it was at the U2 Arena. It was packed. It was crazy, the energy. So many fighters are from the UK and a lot of fighters from other parts of like Europe and in that general area, but mostly like English. A lot of English fighters. Paul Craig fought from Scotland. Um, anyway, so we're just gonna get to it. Starting off, they had Mohamed Mokaev versus Cody Durden. Mokaev is from England. Um, Mokaev had this like crazy flying knee that led to a guillotine, and he was like not even in the right position to get it, which was dope. He got the win there. Um, Next up, they had Corey McKenna versus Ellis Reed. Corey McKenna's from Wales. To be honest with you, I felt like every round could have gone to either fighter. Elise Reed won by win with split decision. She had really good like just kickboxing skills, but again, like I said, every round I have it or I have even round Elise Reed, even round. So the ERs were confusing me. But yeah, next up you had from Wales, Jack Shore versus Timur Valiyev. They were calling Jack Shore the British GSP. Um, I feel like I had it Jack Shore winning every round. He won by decision. Some people might have thought that fight was a little boring, but it wasn't. He just dominated in everything he wanted to do, and that's what he wanted to do. It's not necessarily the most entertaining way to fight, but I mean, they're not calling him British GSP because he's a knockout artist. They're calling him a British GSP because he's an all-around MMA fighter who has no real weak points and is pretty strong in every facet of the game. I mean, that's my assumption at least. Maybe they just think he looks like GSP, but I did not. All right. Then we had Nikita Krylov versus Paul Craig. Paul Craig's from Scotland. Oh, fucking Paul Craig, man. I feel sorry for anybody that got to fight this dude. This guy was like, this Krylov dude was beating Paul Craig up, man. He was beating him up, and Paul Craig was just eating them punches, and he was looking at him like, hit me one more time. And it was just like, and just jumped on the triangle and just submitted that motherfucker. Oh my God. That Paul Craig is crazy. Like, every time I see that dude fight, I feel bad for his opponent. Cause he seems to truly be in there trying to break him, but there's like not like there's any malice or anything. Just he's a scary guy to have to fight, Paul Craig. All right. Next up they had Shamil Abdurakhimov, yeah, Abdurakhimov versus Sergey Pavlovich. Yeah, Sergey Pavlovich. This matchup was crazy to me because Shamil looks like an orc from from World of Warcraft, specifically World of Warcraft. He looked like a cartoony orc. Like he looked like he shaved his teeth down in that Will Smith Bright movie. And he can't go back to the other orcs. So at UFC fights now, this motherfucker just looks like an orc. And the dude he was fighting was this giant, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, looking like Sir Lancelot. It just looked like a knight was in the ring fighting an orc to me. I don't even care who won. It looked like a knight fighting an orc. It was interesting to me. It was like a fairy tale. It come true in the ring. Thanks, UFC. Um, yeah. Sergi, the knight knocked out the other guy. The knight knocked out the ogre. Um, and neither the ogre or the knight looked really phased. The orc was like, "I'm knocked out now. Now I'm back. Everything's fine. I lost." And then the knight was just like, "Yep, I beat him." That's what was supposed to happen. So, I understand that neither one was an orc or a knight. Whatever. Um, they were sparring partners in the past also, coincidentally. I figured it was probably somewhere in the lower depths of a volcanic, dungeon in the Middle Earth where they sparred before, just because they were literally a knight and an orc. You can't tell me any different. At this point, I'm starting to believe my own sauce, and they were definitely a knight and an orc. The knockout punch was like this weird upper straight, like he threw it like it was an uppercut, but it was like a straight right hand. But he like jumped into it as an uppercut, and it just, oh man, yeah, it was a crazy punch, upper straight. Uh, Even when the orc was being beat, his face just looked like he's punching me now. Now he's punching me, and the ref stopped it, and he was like, "Why did you stop it, ref? He was just punching me in the head and I wasn't doing nothing. Why did you stop it?" Like he was not dizzy. There was no missteps. He just stood right up and was just like, "Why did you stop it, ref? Sometimes I get punched in the face. I'm an orc." Anyways, he complained a little bit also about saying that the knight punched him in the back of the head, but we all know knights are good guys. They don't punch people in the back of the head. Those are all clean shots. Shut up, you dirty orc. You're the bad guy. I know he's not an orc. I'm only joking around. So next up, they have Mike Grundy versus Makwan Amikami. Amakani. Oh, these names. I'm sorry for whoever's name I'm brutalizing. I'm not doing it on purpose. Grundy's from England. What do I have here? So, this was a crazy, crazy fight. And Mike Grundy got put to sleep, like submitted. Or I'm sorry, he got KO with a right hook. They were just throwing, wow, 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 wow. And he caught him with a right hook, and I mean just to sleep. Is that the right one? I'm mixing up my notes. No, I'm tripping. Grundy was the one that got put to sleep with the Darce choke. Got put to sleep. Like the ref felt Grundy's hands, they weren't moving no more, and he had to say, "All right, that's it." Grundy wasn't tapping out, he was at home. Grundy wasn't tapping out. So he had to literally be put to sleep. I'm sorry about that that mix up. I'm looking at a different fight. But yeah, Grundy is the one who got put to sleep on the Darce choke. Like the ref had to slap his hands and then tell him, "Get off of me, the dude is out." Next up, they had this is where the main card. This is we're moving from the prelims to the main card. We had Jai Herbert versus Ila Tapura, and so Jai Herbert is from England, and he's like, they're making a big deal about him being from England. I think he's partners with like Molly McCants and Patty Pimblett, who also fighting on this card. So they're making a big deal about Jai Herbert. He was doing really good actually. He had a crazy reach advantage, but at some point, Ila Tapura just got him into a little bit of a brawl and caught him with a right hook. And I mean, Tapura was swinging to sleep. And I mean, he was sleep. Like, yo. And then Ilan Tapura, if I'm not, also, Herbert knocked out Tapura's mouthpiece over and over again before he got knocked out. Like, Tapura was putting it on him. He kept knocking his mouthpiece out of his face. But he caught him with that right hook, and it just didn't matter. And then I'm pretty sure he called out Patty Pimblett after this because he said they had some kind of altercation. He don't like Patty. He want to fight Patty. So he called out Patty. It is what it is, right? All right, next up, you have Meatball Molly McCann versus Luana Carolina. Luana Carolina is like, every time I see her fight, I'm surprised at how good she is. I'm always a little like, damn, she is better than I thought she'd be. Kind of everywhere. She's good on the ground. She's good at ground and pound. She's good in the clinch. She's good striking. She's scary. She's a scary creature, and she's fighting out at 125. She's really tall for that fighting. She's got a lot of reach on everybody. But Molly wasn't fucking playing. Like as soon as it started, I don't know what happened specifically, but Molly hit her with something, and she was compromised the entire first round after that. I mean, she stayed in there and didn't get submitted or nothing, but she was compromised that whole first round. Second round, she came out much better and did a much better job, but Molly just kind of had her number. Third round, like, there was this moment where Molly was winning this third round, I believe. Carolina started to lean on her every time they would get close to each other, and then that leaning on her would lead to a clinch, and she would just kind of try to lean her back to the fence and clinch her because she was having a lot of success in the clinch and on the ground. And so as she's leaning into her, man, you see Molly look like she get the elbow ready, like you see it. She like, no, I'm doing it wrong. She do like this. She look at her like, is she just gonna lean? Let me. Bow! Ooh, if you want to talk about one of the craziest knockouts at 125 female fighters, spinning elbow knockout in the third round at home in England, man. Molly like ran out the ring, freaking came back with a UFC belt for some reason. Like hugging Dana. Shit was crazy, man. The energy in the arena though, like that shit was fun. Like it was. I'm not, I don't have no ties to them or nothing, but like I was having fun. And Molly had a couple really big slams in this fight too. She really looked good. Just in general, Molly looked good. And I mean, she was really just powered up by the crowd. At the end of the fight, she was taking off her gloves. I was like, oh, is she retiring? But she wasn't. She just took off her gloves for some reason, like before they even like announced the winner. Maybe because she was running out in the audience and shit, needed her hands free. I don't know. Next up, yeah, Gunnar Nelson versus Takashi Soto, which was crazy because they both came out looking like kung fu artists because that's just the way they stand. But Gunnar turned it into more of a wrestling match very quickly, and Gunnar dominated him on the ground. Gunnar won all 3 rounds, win by decision. Then we had Kazula Vargas versus Patty Pimblett. This Kazula Vargas dude was mad because he was like, man, this motherfucker Patty Pimblett, man, he running around, he's a child, he talking crazy, this is personal. And Patty's just like, I'm the future, I'm a stouter, we don't get knocked out. I'm sorry for the accent. So the fight starts, and like at some point they get into the scuffle and they throwing punches, and Kazula is landing big punches, and then Patty just rear nigga choke so fast. It went from, oh, Patty's getting hit bad to just like, oh, he's about to, oh, he got the back. Oh, no, he not getting out. That Patty Pimblett, man. They've been saying that he's a wrestler, not a striker. And it's like, you never seen him wrestle in the UFC until now. And when you do see it, I'm sorry, not wrestle, jiu-jitsu, on the ground, the dude can grapple, right? That's a strong point. The striking we've seen has been like his emergency response. That ain't even been the thing he's good at. So I think, and then he's playing it right, man. He's being smart. They're like, when you gonna fight a top 10 fighter? He's like, when they start paying me like I'm a top 10 fighter. What a smart decision to make. Sugar Sean, Patty, smart. And I don't know if the UFC is advising that to them, if they're doing it on their own. All I know is it's a smart strategy. You're trying to race up the ranks, you end up like Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker should be the dude they talking about who might be fighting John Jones next. But instead, he's trying to climb his way up through the ranks because, one, he be making dumb mistakes like doing the worm in the ring and injuring his shoulders and shit like that. But two, because this motherfucker takes all comers. And don't misunderstand me, I'm a fan of Johnny Walker. He fun as shit. But I don't know if that's the best path to be the best champ. The best champ is careful, Floyd Mayweather. Even, anyways, all off topic. What am I talking about? All right, so next up we had Dan Hooker versus Arnold Allen. I hate seeing Dan Hooker lose because of how fucking good he is. But, like, I can't tell if he just had a bad couple of fights or if it's, like, getting towards the end for him or what, but Dan Hooker has been demolished. I think 3 fights in a row now. The fight came out, Hooker was doing a good job of doing what Hooker does very early, and then at some point they got into a bit of a brawl, and Arnold must have hit him like 1,000 times, and like Hooker was like bending over like he was gonna do something, but he never did the thing, and Arnold was still hitting him. It was a TKO. Arnold, first round against Dan Hooker. And it's not, I don't have anything against Arnold. Arnold's from England also. Patty's from England. Molly McCann's from England, if I hadn't mentioned that before, my fault. And then and it's not that I have anything against Arnold Allen. It's just that Dan Hooker's my dude. I not even my dude. I just enjoy him. I like watching him fight. I think he's one of the better fighters. Like he hasn't gotten to that championship yet, but he's so good. When he's on his game, he's fucking amazing. And so I really like watching him fight, and he fights just amazing. He's a guy who hits with all 4 limbs. Like he's He's a really cerebral and skilled, precise fighter. I really like watching him fight. I just don't like to watch him get fought. I don't like to watch him fight like he just did, right? All right, so last up we had Alexander Volkov. He's like 6'7" against Tom Aspinall. Thing about Volkov is that usually in the ring he's so much bigger than his opponent, it doesn't matter. But Tom Aspinall is a pretty big guy, and Tom Aspinall, like Cyril Gane, he's very mobile. He's very quick, good footwork, hand speed. And I mean, it was apparent very quickly that just Volkov did not have the hand speed to keep up with Aspinall. And I mean, once they got on the ground, fucking Aspinall got him with a straight armbar, like in the first round. I mean, you want to talk about, it's good that he won in front of his home crowd and that the English came out and really represented in England. But I mean, after what Molly and Patty did, Tom's fight was a little boring. It wasn't boring as far as like what happened in the fight. It was just boring by comparison. Like, to be honest with you, Meatball, she fucking ran out when Patty won too. She was everywhere. At one point, she's sitting at the booth drinking beers. Excuse me. They had Bisping on the take, of course. So he's in there interviewing the people from his home country. Like, it was a dope card. I think it was my favorite ESPN card I've ever witnessed. Like, I don't really usually enjoy those ESPN cards. It's just some nice fights to get you through to the next PvP pay-per-view. And then sometimes you'll have a good ESPN fight night, or there'll be a good fight or two on the ESPN fight night. But it's rare that the whole event is like that. Like, I heard other people saying, like, it seemed like a pay-per-view. And it's very true. It did. It seemed like like a pay-per-view. Like, if you're ever going to go back to watch one, this is one you should go back to watch. It was fucking fun. And that knockout that Molly McCann had, bananas. It was crazy. Yo, I can't believe it if you made it this far. If you have, I really do love you. Do you know that? Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe and tell your friends and all that good shit. That's it. Bye.